If you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
This is another of our popular Listener's Choice interviews, which we're playing over the weekend. We've chosen the most popular interviews for you to select the Listener's Choice winner. If you're not sure how the Listener's Choice competition works, have a look at horsechats.com/choice for the rules and the leaderboard. Our guest today is Anne-Katrin Liebe. Anna's had a dressage and show jumping and eventing background. She's currently focusing on dressage riding training competition, but plans to do more show jumping and eventing maybe in the next year. She's been breeding German riding ponies, and she's also coaching students from beginners to advanced on her property at Arcadia in New South Wales, Australia. How are you today, Anne-Katrin?
I'm very well, thanks, Glenys. How are you?
Very good, very good. All right, now, Anna, have you got a favourite quote you can talk about today?
I probably have two quotes I'd like to mention. One I live by has influenced me in my life and also when I ride and work with horses and students. I still remember the day as it was yesterday when I had one of the wonderful conversations about horses with my grandfather, Dieter, who was really passionate about horses as well and loved riding. He used to say to me, I can, I want to, and I will do. And this has inspired me, as I believe anyone is able to do anything in life. You just need to find motivation within yourself, look for the desire of the one thing that really makes you content and happy, be decisive, and have trust to take anything in your hands and actually do it with love and perseverance, I guess. So, that is one quote.
And I think that's a good one too, for it's not just about horses and what you're going to do career-wise with horses, but it's to do with life, as you said. Yeah.
As you said, yes, It has. The other one, I have a little gift on my office desk. It's a rubber stamp, and basically it's written on it that, don't dream your life, live your dream. And this is one of the quotes I really like to live by as well. It was given by me by a close friend years ago in Germany before leaving and immigrating to Australia.
I think that's a good one as well. And again, a horse one, but one that's a life quote as well about living. Don't just dream it, but live your dreams. Yeah. It's all about taking action and deciding that you're going to do it. Now, Anna, your grandfather Dieter, he must have been influential on you when you were younger. Do you have your first memories of when you had anything at all to do with horses, when you first started riding or when you first found horses?
Yes, I do. I was born and got involved with horses in Germany. And at the age of 8, I became infatuated with the magic of horses and the beauty of riding. I was not very lucky. I was born into a non-horsey family. So I had to work hard to convince my parents to give me the opportunity to enter the world of horses. And so it happened that during school holidays, which I spent with my grandparents, I had the chance to start learning horse riding at a nearby well-known German stud and training center called Ganshow. And from that moment on, I was hooked. I started riding lessons, and it took from there.
So was that your first moment that you actually had any connection with horses, or was there something, what sort of brought it on? What's your very first memories of deciding that you do want to have something to do with horses? Was there an earlier memory?
Yes, an earlier memory maybe. It's very hard to say. I just remember wanting to be with horses. I might have seen a photograph of a horse on a calendar or in a book. I don't remember, but it was just something within me. I needed to, try it out.
And then when you had that first ride on the day, do you remember that?
I do, yes. I remember the performance pony I rode. It was actually a Haflinger mare at that riding school. And she had the kindest eyes. and the most beautiful face. And it felt like riding, like the ride felt like floating on heaven. It was such a nice feel, being able to sit on a horse, such a big animal and powerful animal, that, I was hooked.
All right. Now, you're working with horses and you're teaching and you're breeding horses and everything now. Was it always like that? Were you always going to work with horses, or did you have another career in your step towards working with horses? How did that work out?
Yeah, it was during the last years of school. I enjoyed competing and training horses. And I looked into the education pathway of being a barrier, which takes 3 to 5 years of education. But I spoke to my equestrian coach at the time, and she mentioned that the German Sports University of Cologne offers equestrian sports as a specialization of the sports science degree or, study. And therefore I was guided to look into studying at university and studied sports science.
Okay. And specialised with horses? Was there a specialty there with horses?
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
They had a topic in equestrian sport.
For sure.
So involving dressage and show jumping, riding and horsemanship.
Yep. Now, when people ask you about working with horses, because I'm sure that they do, what sort of core skills or character traits do you think that someone needs to commence that career within their horse industry?
I believe that whatever area you like to specialize within the horse industry, you need to have an interest, a passion for horses and people. An equestrian coach, I find, needs to have an in-depth understanding and knowledge of horsemanship, horse riding, and training principles, and the experience of having trained different horses. Also, I find it important to have great teaching skills and organizing skills. Problem-solving skills is a big one that is required. Yeah, being self-motivated. If you do run your own business, no matter if it's a horse riding business or whatever type, I think it's important to be self-motivated and hardworking.
Yep. I like the way you said the organising and the problem-solving as well. I think just being able to get everything done within the day. You've got to be the time management and solve problems when they come up as well. Yeah. What do you think then is the best thing about working in the horse industry?
I can only talk from my point of view. So I think I find it very rewarding to see students achieve the individual riding and horsemanship goals throughout the levels, no matter what level they are at. Training horses, the basics, and achieving a partnership with the horse, being successful at competitions. Yeah, living outdoors, like basically I like working outdoors surrounded by nature and horses. It's a lifestyle choice. It's not only a work choice.
Yep. And you said it's rewarding. It's not just rewarding at the top level. It's rewarding at every level.
Very.
Which I should say, it should be rewarding at every level. If you're, getting up to a higher level and it's not rewarding, you might have to ask yourself a few questions,
I agree.
What about, now you talked about your grandfather Dieter, people who've influenced you. Who do you think has influenced you and given you a bit of guidance within the things that you do now? I mean, even just to do with the German riding ponies. Why German riding ponies? Why are you making some of the choices? So who's influenced you there?
I had, as I mentioned earlier, I had regular lessons at various certified riding schools in Germany. And throughout the years, I had different coaches at different levels. So there's a big range of coaches that I have been taking lessons from and with. There was one in particular, Miss Westermann from the Westphalian Horse Riding School in Langenfeld. She taught me the correct basics of dressage and show jumping and eventing riding on her well-trained warm blood and German riding ponies, warm blood horses and German riding ponies. And
that was your introduction there. Yeah.
That was my introduction. Good. That is correct. And at some point when I was 14 years of age, my parents decided to purchase a German riding pony, which was young. I came across it in the stables where I used to take lessons, and the lady at the time was looking for a rider, a competent rider, who could train up the pony. The pony was 3 years of age, and could train up the pony up into the levels in all disciplines, depending on the talent it had. We didn't know that at the time. And it happened that my parents agreed to purchase that particular pony, who is still around, teaching the beginner and advanced riders at my boutique riding school in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So he is 26 years of age now. So a very long time.
That's good. That's good. So he's been a fairly big influence on you then and helped you in your career.
He has.
What about now? Because you've been out competing and doing a bit.
Yes. I have a German riding pony stallion, Vito Dima.
Mm-hmm.
I trained him up. When I imported him to Australia, he was 2.5 years of age. So I started him, from the ground up, starting him under saddle, training him up through the levels. He's at elementary medium level, so competing medium level this year, and advanced. And yes, he is. This was probably one of my biggest challenges as well, training a stallion at that young age.
Sure.
To earn up the levels. And I feel I have even more special bond with him that I had with the first performance pony I own.
Yep.
Because I think they say that it's a different bond with the stallion. And I agree, it is. I can hardly describe what it is, but it is different.
Yep.
It's magically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is that been your proudest moment, though? The work that you're doing with your stallion?
Proudest moment, yes. I mean, I competed him against, in open classes against warm-blood horses and ponies in Australia, and we've been at any competition. We've been very successful, placing in the first, placing first or in the first places range. Proudest moment with him was probably when we were awarded 2016 New South Wales State Dressage Elementary Champion in the pony classes.
Yep.
That was one of the proudest, yes.
Good.
Because all the hard work, all the time you put into the partnership with the horse.
That's right. It's not just that one moment. That's just a reflection of all the time that you have put in. Yeah.
That is right. Yeah, feeling proud about having started a young horse and training it up through the levels. And then being successful at competitions. It's a progress of it. It's not the moment itself.
Yep.
I find. Yeah, we're proud of. Yeah.
So thinking about where you are now, because you started off over the other side of the world and now you're coaching students, you're breeding horses here now, the biggest challenge from the girl who sort of started off with ponies and decided to have a career with horses, has it been the moving? Has it been anything else? What's been your biggest challenge?
The biggest and fascinating challenge is and has been, and it still is, training, my stallion, training young horses, and trying to achieve a harmonic dialogue with the horse. That I find every day it is a new challenge. Apart from that, probably training the stallion, Vito Dima, training him up from the scratch to where he is now.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the biggest challenge ever.
Good. Okay, now for people who have got similar challenges and they're trying to achieve the same thing, what would you say to them? Say someone's looking at you saying, wow, look at Anna, she's doing great, but I'm not. I've got, all these challenges in front of me. What advice would you give them?
I would like to say to them that they should not try to specialize too early in one riding discipline. Because it will help them to develop and broaden their horse riding skills further and make them a better rider in the long run in their chosen discipline. Ride as many different well-trained horses to get a better feel. That's a big one, I think. And keep riding lessons up to date, regular, with a qualified coach, developing the balanced couple-independent feet and the fine-tuned coordinated aid to achieve that harmonic dialogue that we all dream of when we ride our horses. Again, whatever level you are at. No,
that's good. So, because you talked about riders, having a good general and not trying to specialise too early, what sort of things do you think that's going to create? I want to sort of look at a problem here, and for riders that do specialise too early, do you think they're just not getting the broader benefit of the dialogue with their horse, or what sort of problems do you think that creates?
Yes, first of all, I find it is important to take advantage of understanding the horse riding and training principles.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk about the German training and riding principles, I was lucky enough to go through the whole process and progress of doing so in Germany on well-trained horses. I think being able to feel what feels or is correct movement, for example, and achieving the harmonic dialogue with the horse in a respectful way, in a trusting way with the horse.
Yep. Okay. All right. And now, because you're training riders right through, you're training from beginners through to advanced, but what's a common problem? And maybe you see a particular common problem with the beginner riders and a different common problem with your more advanced riders. But I'm just thinking about a common problem or a common fault that you might see, and if you can talk about how to fix that as well.
If it comes to beginner riders, I think if they have been riding somewhere else already, they had a first experience, this is my experience I'm talking about, with my riding school. They come to my place for lessons, they have a trial lesson. I find that they either have made that experience already, they've fallen off or haven't been, as happy as they want to be when they're riding, but they're keen, they're interested in horses. Getting them to sit balanced and supple and independent on the horse is for me the biggest priority. And I find it isn't taught in Australia very much at all when it comes to beginner riders.
And do you think that the fact that they're not sitting balanced is a reason that has caused the fall or caused the lack of confidence? That if they had, say, come to you in the first place and learned how to get a correct seat, learned on the right horses, that they would be in a better place, that they wouldn't have had that fall or wouldn't have lost their confidence?
Definitely. I believe any fall, any bad experience in the first month you're riding, first lessons you have, is you try to avoid any negative impact. There's always some, but you don't want it to be a very bad experience that they don't want to come back to riding. Or they're scared of it. Yes, I think it is very important to not only have a balanced seat, but a supple seat. And the suppleness not only comes from the balance, but also from your mind. If you tense, if you're scared, if you're very, you will be tight. Your muscles will not loosen up. You won't be loose, and you can't be supple. And therefore you might, you're not sitting as stable on the horse as you want to be. And it's quiet. So when it comes to riders who are more advanced, I'd like them to not rush through the levels. It seems in Australia, lots of people who have their own horse, for example, they think they want to be at the top level quickly. And it's too quick, then it's the correct basics. And therefore wonder later on why they don't ride as well as they could. And the horse isn't as going as well as they could. So, don't rush it.
Okay.
It
Good.
takes time.
Sure. Wait, can you hear anything? No? That's because we're waiting for someone with a good quality horse product to be advertised here. If that's you, then contact us, horsechats@horsechats.com, and we'll send you the details. Thanks. Okay, Anna, have you got a book that you could recommend for us?
I really recommend the books from the German National Equestrian Federation. There are many of such. For example, The Principles of Riding, a very good one to have. Then most likely Centered Riding from Sally Swift. And so on. There are lots of books you could read, biomechanics and physiotherapy of horses when it comes to horse training, the psyche of the horse by Thiel, for example. I think read as many books as you can, but choose the right one.
Okay.
That you can understand clearly. And then talk about what you've been reading with your coach.
I think because you've given us 4 books there, and I know that the German National Federation, just the Principles of Riding, I think that's one of our most popular books. And remember, you can find all the books recommended by our guests at horsechats.com/books. You can have a look at the guest page for the individual book they recommended, or just look at the recommended books by order of popularity at horsechats.com/books. Now, I know next year you had said that you were talking about getting is it your stallion that you're going to do the show jumping and eventing on?
Yes, will be. And I have a few young ones, young horses that I'd like to start presenting.
As well, yeah. So that's the main things that you're looking forward in the next year or so?
Oh, no, that's not the main thing. That's just one of them.
Okay.
I'm really excited to further support the development of my students.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to enable the students to ride well and safely, by learning the German horse riding principles of riding and training. I'm thrilled to give young, passionate riders the opportunity to train and compete on my well-trained or their horses this year. I'm really looking forward to that. And also, I can't wait to perform and present the performance ponies at dressage, jumping, and eventing competitions this year.
Yeah. Oh,
looking forward to the state championship.
Good. Okay, as well. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Successful one last year, so I can imagine you'd be looking forward. Yeah. Now, if you can sum up your philosophy with horses in a few sentences, that would be great.
I like to inspire riders to achieve an harmonic dialogue with the horse by encouraging and enabling them to ride from the center of their body, and training the horses by using a logical, thorough German riding training principle system based on classical horsemanship. So, ride and train with the right mindset and not rushing it through the levels and learning the correct basics.
Good. Now, Anna, if people would like to contact you, how can they contact you? What's the best way?
The best to get in touch with me is always giving me a call. I like that. I'm old style. I like being called and have a personal conversation.
Okay, good.
Also via email to my website, www.akagermanridingponies.com, or via Facebook PM.
Brilliant. And those details will be on the Horse Chats website as well. So it'll be horsechats.com/AnneKatrin Liebe, or else just go to Horse Chats, and even if they search for German riding ponies, I'm sure that they'll find you, or Anna or Katrin or Liebe, any of those words. That's wonderful, and been very good talking to you today, and wish you all the luck this year. I think it'll be exciting to see how you're going, and like to get you back sometime soon to just see how you're going with them, and tell us a little bit more about a few other things. Okay, so thanks very much for today, Anna, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
That's okay.
Wonderful. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now, if you're still there, you probably know that I'm absolutely passionate about education within the horse industry. That's why I host this podcast. My other venture is Online Horse College. Have a look now at onlinehorsecollege.com, and I'll see you over there.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.